All right, it's 6:30. This is the village committee as a whole meeting. Let's do roll call really quick.
Councilperson J.P. Martin here.
Councilperson Grant.
Passion.
Mayor Southern. You guys, some of you said just last names and then the other sort threw me. You guys gotta be like in sync for me to remember.
Tommy.
There you go. Okay.
We're trying to be efficient.
I know, right? Okay, go ahead.
So tonight is 3 committees. Got streets, services, recreation, and parks. It looks like. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna go with yes.
So with streets, I think we'll start with the illustrious councilperson Stacy Collins.
Anastasia.
You told me not to call you that in public.
No, I thought it was public and like official capacity.
Oh.
Anyway.
Anastasia.
Stacy, yeah. Anyways, hold on. Streets, they're important. We're still working on them. We're talking about Minerva Lake Road. Mike sent an update. The mayor has it, so she probably will just read it because he's a lot more thorough than I can be. To summarize, we're still working on all our projects. We're trying to add a pathway on one side to also make our community more accessible for everybody. Because I think that is a wonderful thing that we're trying to do. And we're trying to fix the road, and it is actually called, Mike was right, I should never have doubted him, Northland Plaza Drive, which is, but the part that is Minerva Park property, we are not going above and beyond and fixing a parking lot or mall that does not belong to us. We are addressing the things that are in our jurisdiction that need to be fixed, and we're working on that. We're also continuing with CCTV. I think we talked about maybe delaying one combined for cost efficiency purposes. And with that being said, I did ask whether that would be detrimental to the village in some way. And they said because it is a maintenance project and everything seems to be okay. That was the engineer's official recommendation, and he doesn't think anything bad will happen if we do it that way and just save us some dollars. That's all I got so far.
Okay.
Do you guys want to talk about it?
Nope, I got more.
Oh, okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go for it.
For legal. Can we change the name of Northland Plaza Road? Is that something that we have the power to do?
I don't know, it's a good question.
That's a great question.
Thank
Something
you.
like Minerva Plaza?
Like,
Well, because it
Throw
could
that out
change with the zoning change, and I don't just want something sitting there as
Councilperson Drive.
North. Yeah. Sorry.
Find out for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. We were giving you some homework.
Okay.
You love it.
I do.
During the last council work session that Mike was here, there was discussion about possible changes to the Minerva Lake Road project. One of the things was sidewalk. Concrete sidewalks is currently in the design and is currently included in the contractor's price. But there were some council that was unsure whether or not they wanted to keep those in hopes of maybe using Linkus funds. Can you please confirm that the sidewalk will remain in the project? My answer was yes, it is remaining in the project. Is there, Jesse, if I'm overstepping that we're in a work session, am I allowed to say, is there anybody that does not want that, and do we need to talk about it?
You can say it, but it just couldn't be a formal action.
Okay.
But yeah,
If there is anybody that wants to change it, let me know. But my answer is we're moving forward with the answer of yes, because that was what I took from that meeting. Then there was also the discussion of lighting, and I know Jason brought this up, and this is something that I know we have all talked about for years. There was the discussion of the potentially including the street lights in this project. There is design effort associated with it, even if the village wants to prep the streets for future lighting, such as installing the conduits. Can you please confirm if this is something we should be considering? And my answer once again is yes. I don't know that we want all street lighting, but I do remember talking about Minerva Lake Road and far view of a light that just kind of goes over and lights up that general area. Does anybody else remember this? Or am I crazy, or is this before all of your guys' time?
That was probably before our time.
Far view and Minerva Lake Road. We have talked about putting a light in that, not a street light, or just a street light, not. Yeah. So Farview and Minerva Lake Road, I don't know if it was because it was so dark, I don't remember, but everybody kept saying, no, let's wait until the Minerva Lake Road project. Let's wait till the Minerva Lake, okay, we're at the Minerva Lake Road project. And we did not do anything with street lighting. So I don't think we're talking about street lighting all the way down the street, but in that general vicinity.
That corner, yeah.
And I do, maybe Jason has more when he gets here that he can discuss with that, but I think my answer is yes. at least if we can get it wired to do it, in my thinking, we should do it in this project.
I thought Jason was talking about, because I remember Jason talking about it, down the sidewalk.
And maybe he
With the
does want
sidewalk
more,
light.
and maybe he wants more. At a minimum, I think the Minerva Lake Road and Farview area was the area that I'm familiar with that we had talked
Yeah,
about.
That's what I'm familiar with.
They seem to miss the stop signs that are there a lot.
Correct.
Maybe-
So if that's okay, I'm gonna let him know that we are interested in considering that as well. This, I guess I'm not 100% for sure. I guess I kinda know. The other thing that was talked about was the entrance signs. There was discussion about potentially including entrance signs in the project. Can you please confirm if this is something that they should also be considering? I think this is pretty much maybe at the corner of Westerville Road and Minerva Lake Road. I don't know where else we would be putting more entrance signs, but is that something you want them to consider? Is this not, do you guys want to talk about this during the meeting? But those were the 3 questions that Mike asked me about. So again, we are likely going to be signing around July 7th, a notice to proceed. I don't know if we're gonna sign on the 7th because I will not be in the country that day, so we'll have to find out if we can do it a couple days before that. So I'll talk to Mike about that, but does anybody know anything about the entrance signs? You guys not interested in talking about that as part of this project?
We could talk about it, sounds like a good idea, just to be safe and sorry.
I don't know what the discussion is around. I don't understand it.
Somebody brought it up in the last meeting.
Yeah, and Jason did.
Okay,
I remember that.
okay,
Because wouldn't it be cool to have,
right.
ta-da!
Neon glowing sign.
I don't know about neon, but
In my mind, I feel like an entrance sign, if we're talking about, if we're talking about,
like the one on Ponderosa that got knocked over.
to me, that is not a street, I mean, I guess it's a project, but to me, the person paving the street and doing all of that isn't necessarily the person that I think should be building a monument as part of this project. I mean, I feel like you're subcontracting subcontractors to subcontract.
That's what they're contracted to do.
Correct. So I don't know, I feel like the entrance sign might not be the smartest thing to do in this particular, where lighting, I feel like you would be digging up and you would be doing all of that.
What's that road project look like at Westerville Road? Is that why Jason brought it up?
I'm assuming, oh, there's nothing down there,
You know
there's
what
a
I'm
wooded
saying, so
sign.
there's nothing out there, so the apartment complex is on the right.
Yeah, right now, there's just that little.
Is there even room for stuff?
I don't
There's
know.
a little wooden sign
Yeah.
that sits on the corner.
Oh.
It's really old.
I feel like this is something we should be talking about, but I feel like in this project, I feel like we're just trying to reinvent the wheel.
I think
So-
the electric was the real thought process, because if they're
And-
digging the road up and we want to light the
Correct.
sidewalks, how could we?
And maybe we'd ask him about if there could be some additional lighting down in that vicinity.
Yeah. how
But
would you-
again, as far as the entrance,
Or is
I'll
it too
talk to
late?
him.
I mean, I feel like it's just so late to add, but I'm not those guys.
Now's the time to do it for the lighting, and this is the things that he brought up. And the sidewalk, that was a pretty easy answer, so, okay. Barb, you could probably answer this, but, maybe not. We already sent out postcards for the Minerva Lake Road project and the tree survey, just letting people know that, hey, there might be somebody in your backyard or close to the vicinity of your backyard. Those postcards were already sent out, and, we've already had some residents receive them. So, the tree survey is going to be done around the 9th and 10th of July. And then again, the Minerva Lake Road postcards, we're just trying to,
We just said July because we don't have
Yeah.
some more specifics than that
Okay.
right now, but at least people have heads up.
yeah, we're just trying to give people heads up again, that don't know that there's a streets project about to begin.
So sending postcards to the folks affected?
Just,
not
yes, not the whole village.
Okay,
No,
got
just
it.
the ones affected. And in all honesty, Minerva Lake Road going down to one lane is something that we will start posting on the website, the Facebook page and all that stuff. It's gonna affect everyone. I mean, maybe not everyone, but the
apartment-
large majority.
What about the apartment complex? Have we talked to anyone?
Pass my pay grade here.
I put in, they had to contact us, I located the property management
Okay.
company, I put in like a contact us and let them know. I also spoke to one of their maintenance people the other day when we stopped him to pay his traffic ticket and let them know.
So of course Barb did it. That would be the real answer. Yes, of course Barb
And
did it.
I found contact information for the majority, I think, of the businesses on Northland Plaza Drive and Service Road, so that we can reach out to them, probably call them starting next week and let them know that that's coming as well.
So we're trying. I think that's all I had in that one. Okay, so that's Mike's streets thing that I have there. Oh yeah, this is it. That's all I have for streets. Let's go to the next one. I don't wanna,
Next topic is services. Does services have anything to present for the committee as a whole meeting? Services, there's leaf bids. Have we
How
talked
are the
about
leaf
that?
bids coming along?
I think for the most part, everybody's decided that we're just moving, that we're
Yeah,
moving forward.
3 years,
Yeah,
cool, that's perfect.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what
Did
we're
we
moving
get,
forward.
because last time we had this conversation, there was numbers that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Do you want me to print it?
That was
I
not-
have it in front of me.
I think
Oh,
we got an
I have-
even better price, you guys.
I think I have it. Oh, okay, this is for
Thank you,
that.
Tommy.
Thanks to Councilperson Martin. Hang
I
tight.
should say leaf bid on the front.
3-year contract for leaf removal, 5% increase for each year for 3 years.
Sounds perfect.
There you go.
Woohoo! And then we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
And that's the nice part about the trash bid is each time that we do it, and I do think it's not until my last year that we have to do that again. And that's pretty much autopilot, all we do is send it out, we get the same 3 people that bid on each year. Maybe there'll be a new one by then, but we'll see. There is a noisy tree that we've talked about, we did get 2 people come out and look at it. We do have the PO done, it is over by,
The dam over here, it is creaking in the wind, and I was actually on the walkway last year when a big branch fell right in front of me. There is a very, very strong fear it will crush somebody as they're walking on the path, so it has to be unfortunately taken down to the safety. You can blame me on that one, so.
but the PO has been done, it's obviously been super hot, so hopefully here very shortly he will get out here and get that done, but, the village has done everything that we can do on our end, we're just waiting for the contractor to come out and get it removed. So that's services.
And we're like 1 year away from trash bids.
Is it 1 year?
Yeah. I saw something, I don't remember what I saw, but I was like, ooh, 2026.
Is it?
It's coming up soon. Yeah,
I think it's October, so yeah, we'll start doing it in like February, March. We do it early,
I just saw that.
because we gotta do the three readings and all that. Okay. I think that was it for services.
Any food truck info? Is food
Yes,
trucks
we
under
have
services?
Keto Kebabs coming this Friday from 4 to 7.
Okay. Is that it?
For this month, yes.
We got any July 4th hot dog eating contest or?
No, actually, most people will be cooking out for July 4th.
Very true.
So I did not schedule a truck for that date.
With the 5th, though, right?
For the 5th?
LD?
Oh, that's right, he did say that. Sorry, my apologies. We did schedule LB's Fish and Chicken for the pool parking lot on the 5th.
Oh,
No, fun.
And I think that was 1 to 4.
I never got a time, I don't know.
Okay, I have to look at my emails on that. Yes,
1 to,
5, 4, 1 to 4.
Okay. We'll see if we can get the time on that.
Yeah, let me look at it.
The next thing that we will go to is recreation and parks. Jason had said that he had 2 things. One thing was, to discuss whether or not we can get some more handicap chairs, for the pool. So I think we only have, 12?
20?
20? 12 to 20, handicap chairs, and it has been requested that we do get some more. The other thing that would be nice is if we could get some of the, I've seen a couple people, okay, I'm not gonna say people don't need them, but maybe we should put banners on there, because some people do just walk up and get in the chair that's sitting there, and I'm
That's
not
what I was
judging.
gonna ask, what are those chairs?
So they're the taller ones, and I don't know that everybody realizes that those are handicapped. We had discussed last year about getting an actual like banner that goes around those to say handicap, they're like the little, yeah, they're like the little spongy things. There's gotta be a place that can do it cheaper. We looked into it at one point, and I think it was like $10 or $15 each.
what about putting something on a fence and putting them in front of a fence as like a,
Like a
there's not, you don't have to stack all of them. I know I'm
Correct.
asking people to do things, but
No, I mean, we can do anything you guys want to do. I mean, if they're handicapped, it's hard to move them around for some of the people to get, I know of a couple people that would have a hard time moving them.
Yeah.
So unless we got a lifeguard, go for it.
Do these have arms?
No, they're just tall.
They look exactly the same, except they're like 2 to 4 inches taller. I
They're
don't,
about 6 inches.
might even be 6.
Can you just put a handicap sticker on it?
That's what I'm saying, we just need to get something to identify
Just a
them.
sticker.
Yeah, if we could find something,
Yeah, like waterproof stickers.
some kind of waterproof something.
That's a great idea, chief.
And write a code to ticket them if they don't have a, no, I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
if we could have an officer present.
Or code enforcement, one of the two.
No, the couple times that I've been there this year, they're just,
And
they're,
spray paint?
Yeah? That's
so
great.
at JC Pool, they use something, some kind of pin or pencil or something that says 18 and over. So at JC, they're not handicapped, but they write 18 and over on theirs, and I don't know if they do it every year or how they do it, but you're not allowed, if you're 15 years old, you're not allowed to sit in the chairs at JC. We don't have that, but I'm just saying there's obviously something we could write on the vinyl with.
'Cause
So there's
they're
options.
expensive.
60
Oh, yeah.
pieces.
They're like
for-
$300 each.
You can get 60 stickers for $8 on Amazon.
Are those waterproof?
I don't know yet, they look.
Yeah. So,
I have the placards, but I can't tell.
That's what she's
Outdoor,
saying.
indoor placards.
Is she? Yeah.
4 for $5.
Is that what
and
it
even
is?
if we just got something to like, something like that just goes around, like if you, what are those little,
Like a zip tie.
zip tie? Like little, something,
Family fun night, have the kids paint handicap stickers on the,
yes.
That's a great
That's a great
craft.
idea too.
Great craft.
So that was one of the questions, but, so I don't know if that would solve some of the problem, is making sure that they're completely identified so people can see them. But number 2 is whether or not we have the funds that we could order another 5 or 10. I don't think that there's a need for a crap ton more, but maybe we start out with X amount, and that's something that you guys can all start talking about. They don't come in quickly, so my theory is it would probably be something that we would do for next year. So I don't know that to be a fact, but if I remember right, we ordered them and they didn't come in for quite a few months. The other thing that he brought up is there have been some people complaining about the lack of the variety of the snacks down there. We decided to cut back on the variety of snacks because we wasted a lot of money last year. In my opinion, there was quite a bit left over. We do have a concession manager down there now, that I don't think that that's gonna happen, with ordering and all of that. But we cut back over probably 50% of the things. I mean, we probably had 12 to 15 different types of chips last year, and I think we have like 4 this year. Same thing with the pop. I think we had 10 different, we probably had Sprite, Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Coke, Diet Pepsi, Coke Zero. We had it all.
Wow.
And this year, I think we have 4 to 6 max.
And she is keeping track of things that people ask about.
Yeah. So,
She's phenomenal.
do we know whether or not there is any actual food down there still?
I
Because
don't know what that means.
not a candy bar. Last year we had the hot dogs, which didn't sell, but then we tried to get those other things. They don't sell. The pepperoni rolls.
There's
Pretzels.
pretzels and there's nachos and cheese.
Did we ever find out if they were able to get any?
The pepperoni rolls have been discontinued.
Yeah.
They offered as a substitute to maybe do Bosco sticks. They're like some kind of like stuffed breadstick thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
can be discussed.
yeah, so that's just something, I don't know that if you guys want to, we did it based on the fact that, same thing with the ice cream, we probably have 4 different types of ice cream, maybe 5, and last year we probably had 8 to 10 different things. So it was just, we are trying to not be wasteful. And I don't know how we go about doing that without, we could always order more stuff and then just do it once, and once it's gone, it's gone. So, there's options. I'm just letting you know that was something that he wanted to discuss. And we did that administratively because there was so much waste last year.
I think the fact that we have a woman running it this
Yes.
year who is tracking what people
Yes.
are asking for, it's worth doing a one-time experiment. Let her order what she
Right.
feels is the best thing to order, and then if it sells, great. If not, we'll buy it, and then we know.
Right.
So yeah, what the heck? There's just no harm to ordering it because we have someone who's tracking it.
Yeah.
I think so.
I agree.
Yeah.
If people are asking for it,
Exactly. I don't know what list is that, I have not seen a list yet, so maybe that's something, but, I mean, how many good days have we
I
had
know
for?
you suggested those one ice cup things, and based on your suggestion and how that sold, she did add an additional flavor of that. So I know that she is listening to what people are
Okay.
requesting.
So yes, and she has access to get the stuff ordered and she has access to do that. So I'm not sure which things, and maybe I can just have a conversation with Jason if there's certain things that he's aware of that we don't have. But that was just one of the things that, that he wanted to bring up, that he just wasn't gonna be here. So, that's why I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, that's great.
So we will work with her and just see if there's some additional things that she wants to get added.
Do we have popcorn there?
John would prefer, I'm gonna say this nicely, John would prefer not to have popcorn because it gets into the filters. Unfortunately, it can be a little messy. And popcorn is a huge, money maker, if that, like, the amount of money that it costs us to get popcorn versus what we can sell it for, the margin is probably the largest with popcorn. And they've tried to talk us into getting popcorn multiple years, and with John's recommendation of not doing it, we've decided not to do it and follow his guideline, because we don't wanna mess up the filters. So that was that. Okay, so that is recreation and parks. Do you guys wanna go through the agenda, the legislation?
Yeah,
Does
we
anybody
can.
have anything else that they want to talk about first? Okay.
Yeah, on legislation today, we have, if someone chooses to make a motion to bring off of the table, ordinance 2025-09, for an ordinance that increases the salary of the council members of the Village of Minerva Park as a third reading. There is the, supplemental appropriations for an ordinance to transfer appropriations and make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village Minerva Park for the year 2025. I think that is mostly, and Tony, did you get some clarification on this? Is that mostly for the Minerva Lake Road project?
Yeah, so went through the numbers, Tommy had called me last night just to kind of talk through it too, but went through it today. I mean, I'd like to hear, actually more information from Jeffrey just on all of it. I mean, it's on down here. Minerva Lake Road was just new to me, Tiffany, so I know I'm just still trying to learn, so I was gonna ask a brief question on that, but he sent some more information on that, so that was cool, and that was the big expenditure appropriations in and of itself. But so I would like to hear more, maybe from him at some point, right?
Oh, yeah.
I did ask for a meeting, and anybody's welcome to come. I wanna make it during the day, unfortunately, I work from home on Tuesday, Wednesday, so if we have a meeting, anybody's welcome to come. It's gonna be more information from me, sorry, but just wanting to know, everything that's going on.
Okay.
Just kind of get an idea of it.
Absolutely.
But I think everything looks fine to me, Tommy, I mean.
And yes, that is the majority of, or that is the things that are on there, is to get the money where we need it to be for the Minerva Lake Road project.
I know. We live in Ohio, we've seen deer our entire lives, but it's still so cool.
And then,
Thank you, I love it.
I'm,
And Tiffany, I think, the only question I had is, I guess, when we talk about appropriations, like, obviously, like sewer, street improvement, anything like that, I mean, it just, to me, it just kind of makes sense, right?
Right.
Because I'm not an outsider, but outside of the game, that stuff makes sense, so, again, the only way you stood up was about projects.
and then I'm,
Oh, what is the state highway? I didn't mean to ask that. State highway where it says, do you know what that is?
we get and I don't know if anybody else can contribute to this, but we get a very small percentage that can only be spent.
On our strip of,
161?
Yes.
The finance director is working on the permission to move that to a different funds line.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I said, I want to have a meeting, just sit down, just to talk about things, if you don't mind, but, just so that, but they only had minor questions.
And then I do think that there is one thing on here, I'm not looking at your guys' sheet, so correct me if I'm wrong, and did you guys get the general fund 1,000 capital outlay?
1,000?
The very top one on here. The 15,000 general fund?
Yeah.
My understanding is our server is,
Yes, he did.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I did read that. yeah.
so that, you asked if this is Minerva Lake
On
Road,
the
that is one thing that's
addition,
not
I think.
Minerva Lake Road.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to point that out. I know you guys have it, but I just wanted to say it because it is different.
Because our IT group has informed us that a new backup server is needed because
Yes.
we're quickly exceeding our
Yes.
capacity.
Yes. Okay. Continue.
I had a thought. I wanted to make sure, Tony, if you were trying to meet with them and people come, we need to make sure that we post it.
No, if there's only 2 people,
I know, but what happens if 3 people show up then?
then you guys would discuss it before. If there's 2 people that decided they want to come, then you guys could just let everybody know that these are the 2 people that are gonna be here.
Okay.
So, yes.
What we could do, if it makes more sense, it could be just you and me with him, right? That wouldn't be
Sure.
a meeting, right?
Okay.
Cassie, I know you wanted, I know others may want to come, but
If-
what I could do is write up the minutes for it.
I know, but I hate that for you, so like if you could record it and then just send it through AI, that, that's a lot faster, but.
AI.
Nice. I like the way you think.
Use one of our recorders and I
Yeah.
can,
Yes,
we have software now to handle all of that.
yes.
It's a team.
Or you guys are more than welcome to turn it into a meeting in the middle of the afternoon and we post it.
Yeah, and
So
that's-
I just want to,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that is
not
an
a-
option.
That's kind of what I'm trying to, there is
Absolutely.
no harm in making it a meeting and posting it, and I think we have to do it within a 24-hour period.
Correct. So if he
The public
responds to you on
posting.
Monday and you're gonna do it on Tuesday, if we want to do it as a meeting, if we think that there might be 3 people or you just want it open to the public or whatever, which you're more than welcome to, again, so you can record it. Anytime there is more than 2 council members, if there's 3 or more, we do it that way. Okay,
That was my only thought about that. What else do we have? Where was I? All right. The other one is for roadway improvement projects, with the second reading, the resolution to authorize the mayor and the fiscal officer to enter into a contract with the 2025 roadway improvement project and declaring an emergency. A second reading with the intent to suspend rules that require 3 readings and pass as emergency. I think the only reason to pass as emergency is to get it started, right? I mean, to get things going so it's less impactful and it gets done, because it's been talked about forever. The next one is to a reading of the tax budget, which is the second reading, and the final resolution is to amend and advise the fee schedule, which I think you sent something out on? Is that what you sent to
she
me?
just sent that earlier, so we'll talk about the fee schedule for 2 seconds. Just so you guys know what that is for. So the fee schedule we bring to you guys a couple times throughout the year, maybe once, maybe twice. I have no idea where I put it. The reason that we're bringing this to you guys right now is it's come to our attention that we're probably significantly lower for our police special duty than all of the surrounding agencies. We obviously have increased our police salaries over the last 3 years, however, we have not increased our special duty rate. Therefore, our special duty rate is barely higher than what some of the guys are doing. When we have special duty and you are trying to get surrounding agencies to help fill the special duty, and their special duty rate is 75 and ours is 58, it's a little difficult to get people to come in and do that. So this is just something that hasn't been updated in a couple years. So the two, okay, well, actually, let's back up. The tent is also being removed from there because they've essentially just been broken,
What are you talking about?
the tents.
The tents.
That we rent.
They were available for rent. When we set them up for Arts in the Park, there's damage to one that you have to put a pin in to hold it up. There's damage to another one that one of the hinges at the top, and it's just not a good idea. I mean, we can set them up for village events, but if we rent them out to people, it could be not good.
Yeah, so that's that. So the other things is strictly to police. There's another line that we have in there that is, so one is to adjust the special duty rate for if you are, if, for example, I hate to even use these words, phantom, if they have special duty in any time throughout the year, it will not change the special duty rate as it is, because we've already quoted them what the rate is right now. So we're doing the 3 readings or however you guys want to do it, but it will not affect this. It will affect it once it's passed. So it is, I have talked to Chief about this. It's, right now we have $65 in there. I think we want to do 70, and the reason that we want to do 70 is our surrounding agencies are actually that. What did I do with this? So we reached out to Blendon, Clinton, and Westerville. Clinton charges $75 an hour, Blendon charges 70, Westerville charges 73. So knowing that we're essentially doing this probably for next year, we would like to get that switched to 70. That's where we came up with the number. Obviously, you guys can do what you want to do. Did we want to change the cruiser rate? I think we determined it is 35. I think we were told Clinton does, I did not get everybody's cruiser rate. Do we want to leave that at 35 or do you? I don't know.
35 is good for us.
Okay. So, and then we charge $35 anytime that they have the cruiser there as well. And that is village money.
On top of,
On top of.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
and that's normal. That is normal with surrounding agencies. So that's why the fee schedule's there. It hasn't been adjusted, it hasn't been updated, and again, this is just a first reading.
How does that work for the special duty rate? Does that just go straight to the officer?
Correct.
The
And then they pay
full-
taxes on it. Yes,
And that's
yes.
not,
They get a 1099.
that's what whoever's hiring our special duty, they're paying that rate.
They are paying that, correct. So if, and so for example, like I said, if it's our special duty and you have Clinton officers coming in, they get our, we don't pay them theirs. They just get ours,
Somebody else covers that?
Correct.
Tax, okay.
and vice versa.
Yeah, so what's the incentive of keeping it at why don't we just do 75, 80? Why don't we just pay them more? What, is there like and I'm just trying
That's a
to
good
understand the
question.
economics of
No,
it.
in my mind, then you end up with people trying to skirt not getting it if they don't have to. I think more people would be able to, I don't know, I don't think you would wanna go too high.
If you charge too much, they'll call the county.
Yeah.
Rat on us or ask them to hire
let
them?
them do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's Plymouth?
But they'll still get that rate, right?
no,
Yeah.
they would get their
They
rate.
get their rate.
Okay, so we should just match the county rate.
That was,
Then
that's,
The whole point.
Dick had said, yeah, that's why,
we're trying to keep it so that they hire us.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But not price ourselves out of the game. Yeah, because I want to get the officers that extra money if they can get it from the show.
That makes sense.
You know, because that's money in their pocket, that's Christmas, that's, stuff like that. So, I want to get them that money, but I don't want to go so high that they just go, well, I'm not gonna use a special duty officer, I'm gonna hire the township or the county because they're less. So by just being right there in the mix, but maybe a little bit lower, we stay employed in the village.
And I think we've always tried to do that. I think even with their salaries and things, all we've ever tried to do is stay competitive. You know, we know that we're never gonna be Columbus, we know that we're never gonna be some of these other ones. We are just trying to stay competitive. And I think, they do special for our officers can do special for other places as well. So every once in a while, they will get an email and it will say, there's special duty at this place and it pays X amount of dollars and they sign up for it and then they can go do it. Now, they're not allowed to do it if they call in sick or something like that. So our officer, this is their prime job. They're not gonna not do this, so to go do special duty. So that's kind of how that works.
I have a question on this,
Go for it.
so the golf cart inspection, we can
We actually do those.
we
Yes.
can drive golf carts in Minerva Park?
That's state law. Low
You
speed
know
vehicle.
No.
Yeah.
That was added, what, a year
Sometimes
ago?
you can walk your dog with a golf cart.
No, you can't. Stop that.
No, you literally can. I've
No.
videos of it on Facebook.
Stop it. It's frowned upon.
I'm sorry.
there goes that big golf cart you're talking about.
You're in trouble.
I'm gonna call the police.
So yes, that is what that is from. So that's the whole reason for this fee schedule. Now, if you guys go through the fee schedule and there is something else that you would like to see updated or changed, the rental rate is something else that we have been discussing, and that is something that we will probably discuss over the next month, maybe even in your guys' next work session. This is to get the fee schedule in front of you, get the first reading. Obviously, we don't wanna make any changes on the last reading or anything, but the other thing that we did wanna talk about is we have had a couple, parties that, Barb and Brian have had to spend hours in here cleaning after. So, not gonna say when or where or how or anything else, I'm just gonna say that it's happened more than once. There have been stains on some of the carpet, stains on some of the walls, and even on our desks. So I think it's something that, you know, at some point, if that continues, I'm gonna come to council and ask that we quit the parties. If they're doing, you know, some sort of meeting or some sort of, you know, board games or something, but at some point, either we're gonna have to stop the parties, eliminate food. It's unfortunate because there are people that you would never know somebody was in here. So,
Are there like fines that we impose? I was looking at it.
We take a credit card for, I mean, I would think that enforcing the things.
we've never had anything broken, and the second part to this is, and we've had this discussion before, when you have a party on Friday, a party on Saturday, and a party on Sunday, yes, we try to stop in and do different things, but you may not notice it. We did not notice the marking over here for a couple days. We don't know who did it. So unless somebody is actually going to be in charge of coming in after every single meeting and doing, you know, an inspection, you can't really do it. I mean, you just don't know who did it. So I think that's the second part to that. So I don't know if you guys have a solution, if you guys have anything, but I mean, at this point, it doesn't happen all the time. I would say it's happened a handful.
So, one suggestion, and someone who's rented it multiple times.
Yes.
I would increase the price.
But here's, in fairness, and I hear you, but I would also say we have had residents complain that it's too high if you're a resident.
Yeah, but I think that it causes someone like me, right, to say, okay, if I'm doing a wedding, literally, if it's 150, if it's 450, we probably may still do it, but it causes you to rethink it, you know? And then the 450 hopefully covers, not that I want them to clean it, but hopefully it covers any of those costs.
Right.
That's just my thought. 150 is cheap.
Yeah,
I mean-
oh, it is, and again, we've even had people complain about the 150, that it was too high for residents, and I think Barb will vouch for that. So, again, it's a topic for you guys, we have the fee schedule, we don't have to do it this time, it's just go through it, see if there's something that you guys prefer to do.
What about a cleaning deposit?
There we go.
Or we just charge $50 period to everybody. I mean, I think there's still different ways to do it, and because at the end of the day, somebody still has to come in here.
I put a $200 cleaning deposit.
Then Leah has to refund it and jump through all of those hoops if it's clean, and how much is it gonna be charged if it's not? Are we gonna prorate?
What
And
about?
This is just residents only renting this.
Correct.
Employees.
And employees, yeah.
Anytime you guys have come in here, have you guys fined the person who's left a mess?
We had conversations about it, and we basically said, well, I guess that's why people pay $150 to cover that.
No,
Is that not-
that's the rental for the room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
But what is it, that doesn't cover, if it comes right down to it, does it cost $150 for somebody to be in this room for 10 hours in a day? Do the utilities and everything, does it cost $150?
Yeah, but you get charged that if you go to the, or anywhere else, any other building, you're getting charged for it, plus there's rent, there's cleaning fees, there's all kinds of things. Again, I think the hard part is the majority of the people, they leave it, you can get off the floor.
95%.
Yes, it's just that handful. And again, I think maybe it has to do with some of the larger parties, you know, I don't wanna blame it on kids, I have 2 kids, but you know, when you have kids in here, sometimes maybe things get spilled a little easier.
I don't want to punish the people who do a good job of cleaning,
Correct.
but I would definitely like to revisit a cleaning fee or something like that. Like, hey, if you damage a carpet or if you mark up a wall, you will pay XYZ amount. Because I hate to see, you know, the building just shut off from the public in that sense. But also keep in mind, this is a municipal building, not a party rental. And I don't mean no disrespect when I say that.
No, I think that's part of it. I mean, we want to make sure that 20 years from now, this building is still able for us to have these meetings, and this is the priority.
Yeah.
This is our municipal building, like you said, this is not a party room. It is used for parties, but it is our council chambers, it's our, all of that. So I think there's a balance between making sure that we aren't spending X amount of dollars replacing carpet 5 years from now because we turned it into a party room instead of.
I think we should definitely discuss it on the
Yeah.
agenda for the next work session.
Absolutely. So again, I'm just bringing it up because it's been recent.
That's a very good point, so.
Can I ask a question? Do you have cameras around here?
Yes.
That you can see who did what?
Yeah, but I think the
I know that you don't want to like
Yeah.
spy on people, but you want to know what happened. Or either somebody would have to be here or come afterwards to see what, at the end of the party.
I think part of it is, again, if we don't know if it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, we could literally be looking at 10, 12 hours of video. So
I know coming at the end
Right.
to see.
Yeah.
we don't have the staff
You
to
don't
do
have
that.
that kind of-
Yeah, we don't have the staff to do it, and it's normally the weekend. So,
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we just happened to have somebody that stopped in after the one party, and we noticed that it was pretty bad. So, and we had a party the next day, so they were cleaning up. So yes, we would have only had to watch X amount. Like this one, we knew who it was, but we don't always know who it is. But if there was something broken or something like that, yes, we would have the ability to go back and watch, and yes, we would go back and watch 8 hours of video if we had to.
Was it brought to their attention?
I don't know for sure. It's been recent. So,
I mean, I hope we did at least address it
Yeah.
with them. I mean,
and this isn't the only one. I mean, again, we've had a handful. So this is just, it was brought to your attention because this isn't the first time or the second. Okay, so I think we're done with agenda. Is there anything, I know that we have old business, new business on the agenda. Is there anybody that wants to talk about this stuff before we get into the meeting?
Wait, are we gonna talk about the section thing? When's that gonna happen? Do you wanna do it now? The legislation?
You guys can talk about whatever you want.
Do you wanna do that now, or do you think we should be in the meeting?
what are you talking about?
Let
The
me,
stuff that's on new business in the agenda?
I don't know, maybe. Is it
Yeah, I mean, I
on
think we
here?
should talk about it in the actual meeting.
Okay, is it on here? I keep reading it.
Shortcutting across private property?
No, the proposed law.
Oh, we can talk about it, we can talk about it now.
Let's do it now.
So there's a proposal in the state budget bill, buried deep in that monstrosity of a piece of legislation that no one ever hoped to read.
Of course it is.
It permits the state fire marshal, long story short, it allows the online sale of fireworks. And important to our purposes is that it permits a wholesaler or a retail store to set up a distribution spot in their parking lot for people that have previously purchased them online. So you order it from a store, you come to the physical location and pick it up, and it permits a tent or a temporary structure solely for not the display of anything, so not like what you'd see in like a Walmart parking lot somewhere. It's to pick up what someone has previously purchased online.
Like DoorDash and fireworks?
Kind of,
Yeah,
but
like-
also you're coming to their door.
So more like a
Like a
quick.
drive-through
It's
fireworks.
it's like one of the fast food places setting up something for you, like
Right.
Chick-fil-A does it, where you drive under and they're trying to keep the cars cool and they turned it into permanent structure now, but they had tents for a long time. to some-
Best Buy did it when they were doing their renovations.
Yeah.
They had a tent set up here, you went to there because they didn't have it open in the store, and you could only purchase online, so they had tents in front of the
Fireworks
store.
obviously have an extra level of being regulated by the state, and so what a normal retailer would do takes extra steps from the state, and the fire marshal is able to give exemptions and has in multiple occasions, up to this point, given exemptions at different locations, because they don't like the amount of people that are in stores, right? And so it's a safety thing, so the state fire marshal has given exemptions for them to do it this way. And so now.
Is it a safety thing if the fireworks don't have
If
a
there's too
sprinkler
many-
under them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
There's too many people in the store.
Here's what I'd say, the tent or the temporary structure has to be licensed by the state fire marshal.
Right.
So if they don't meet whatever safety, and that is not specified in the bill, and I don't know off the top of my head, the state fire marshal has to grant a permit for the temporary structure to allow the delivery.
It's a special extra step, and it's the state fire marshal's decision at the current time as to whether that happens or not. So,
It has to be, it does note here, and I'm looking at the Legislative Service Commission analysis of it, that the tent or temporary structure has to be approved by the state fire marshal in compliance with all state and local laws, including the state building code, the state fire code, and any applicable zoning requirements.
Okay, so 3 questions.
Okay.
Are we doing this to try to make sure that they can't have a tent out there and people have to physically go inside?
Yes.
So if we're making people park their car, physically go inside, we're essentially creating more traffic because it's gonna take twice as long to go stand in line versus pulling up somebody running and getting it. I'm devil's advocate here. Or do we know if they're even going to do that?
We
Okay, no, that's all I'm asking.
We don't.
That was just all I wanted to know. So we don't know if they're doing it, and the question is will it create, and I don't know the answer. If
The
it's
question
faster.
is, do you want to make sure that tents are not allowed in businesses? So this is a non-issue going forward. The question is.
I feel like
are
I've
we
seen them
going
in our
to-
strip malls before. I know for a fact we have, and it was on July 3rd last year when Ferguson was down there, they had tents set up in the strip mall, yes.
Ferguson.
Do we want that?
One of our police officers did special duty down there and they had tents set
And
up.
the question is do you think it's a bad look for Minerva Park to even have tents in their parking lots?
I don't know that, but I know they've done it in the past,
Okay.
for sure.
And so the other question is, do you want to pursue this, knowing that this will maybe affect another business? But
Exactly.
also, will it clean up the look in general, where no business is allowed to have a random tent in the front? Because that tent takes up parking, and because it takes up parking, and because now you have a convenience factor, will it actually attract more traffic? Because you're like, oh, well, I can just do this because it's a drive up, and will it actually bring more people?
So we can just make it a special permit on a case by case.
Or we just don't allow
And
tents,
you can
period?
put it through a process and people can make a case by case decision.
Yeah, I think that's the question is it going to hinder other people from doing, because I think the question is, and this is, I never even thought about it, so I don't have any skin in this game. Would it be, so if, and this is what I think the tent was for the last time, if they're doing like a little cookout, which is what I've seen in the strip malls,
Okay.
would, even if the grill is over here and then they have the condiments and stuff like that over here, is that what are we basically saying they can't do that either, or just online
Yeah,
pickup?
so whatever.
Are we avoiding tents period, or just online pickup?
Yeah.
So we can't do legislation that says you can't have a consumer fireworks pickup store tent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
But you-
specifically tailored to a specific business. You could, couple options. A, there are no temporary structures allowed in commercial zoning districts. Can't do it.
So if
B,
somebody has a cookout, they could not use a tent?
I
Right.
don't know if
B,
are they
I don't know.
allowed to have cookouts? Like, is that even legal?
Yes.
Yes, we had them, I mean, it happened down there. It was, somebody did a cookout, it was the 3rd of July, and yes.
Giant Eagles do, Yasmin can do it if they wanted to, I mean, it's something you see. on
Because they do
regular
like,
basis.
they were doing like hot dogs and stuff like that for the 4th of July. I mean, it's,
Do we want that?
I mean, we've done it, that's the question, and all of a sudden now we're, I mean.
the second option is you do a special permit. That has to be tied to like criteria, which then drags you into having a meeting to discuss the criteria for a temporary tent every time it happens, and then
But you
being
can-
held to the fire to apply those criteria equally to whoever applies for it.
I mean, I don't feel like it happens all the time, but like, yes, is this gonna create more people doing it? Is it gonna create people not doing it? I don't have, I honestly,
Since I
don't know.
don't see this happening, I don't know that it's a problem searching for a solution type situation. So I feel like this is brought up just for this specific issue because it's there. But if you want to make a special permit tied to criteria, you can make it just for food-related stuff, you can make it for
Yeah.
promotional stuff, and that'll eliminate the councilwoman's particular concern in this case, you won't be able to sell fireworks under it. So you could do it in a couple different ways. But it's
Or
something.
we just not have tents in the parking lot?
Yeah, I mean, that certainly, that is up to
And
you.
then we're gonna-
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when we
Tell
had
us
that,
what you want.
like, here's another one, and I know we had talked about this, that tent that was set up and they were doing like those phone giveaways.
Right, and I couldn't see pulling out of the street, so that's also a hazard. Like, all
Except
of
we were
this-
told we actually could not.
And they had to move it because they were in the way, they were in the right of way, so none of that was a good idea, and it was dangerous.
So the permit will
Those people
obviously
didn't have
set
to
down
move.
criteria.
They
that
did,
allow
because
that.
at first I
And they'll
couldn't
be
pull out and
aware.
I couldn't see, so that tent, all of that is a visibility
The
issue.
cell phone place?
Yes, they had to move it back because at first they were like
I didn't
in
think they
the
had to
street.
move, because they were there for a while.
Yeah, but they kept moving it. So
Yeah, I don't
I just,
remember.
all
But
of
yeah, that
it
was
is
not
like,
bad.
is a tent even a good idea? Because like, how will that affect safety and our parking situation when you're taking up even more space in the parking lot? How is that a liability if something, God forbid, happens or somebody veers off the road? Third of all, how is it a safety issue for fireworks? Because now there's fireworks in the hot sun and there's no sprinkler system. Like, all of this, to me, is a
The
lot.
fireworks aren't sitting outside.
They're also not gonna, as you know, they don't explode in the sun.
Is that,
Unfortunately,
they're
also
not sitting
gonna-
out there.
We don't know.
The tent, the structure in which they're stored has to be approved by the state fire marshal.
Right.
That's out of our,
Right.
certainly out of my expertise. They're not gonna have it under a tarp from Walmart. One presumes that does not meet the state fire marshal.
Sorry, this is something I've never thought about.
So there's three options. It's allow it, ban it, or manage it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
So it sounds like it's a wonderful thing for P and Z again to discuss. Make some recommendations up to council.
Because if the tents have to be approved by the state
Marshall.
marshal,
Yep.
that takes care of the tent itself. But what I'm really hearing is it's causing a traffic problem. So like who inspects these kinds of requests for what the traffic impact might be?
So a location of where they go would be part of the criteria. You could not, thou shalt not block view sheds, right? And
Not
that would-
public right away.
Right,
like
thank
that
you.
self-contained.
So all of those would be known as part of the permitting process, and they would have a rule set to go with. Again, that would be, if council wanted to pursue this, that would be the recommendation that would come up, and there would be a set of rules, and that can be discussed and approved at some point. And it won't include, because there's a concern about fireworks exploding under the sun, you could do it in a way that it wouldn't allow that in that use. Maybe it's just for promotional use with other businesses, but it's gonna be a case by case.
Or,
So we'll see.
what do you mean, or we just don't do it and then we don't have to worry about it and we're fine. And then we don't have to worry about tents, or worrying about tents in the way, or worrying about any of it. Why don't we just not have tents and then we'll be
That'd
done?
be fine. Just-
And so if
Council.
we choose to do that, we can't do it for this year. I
We
mean,
can't.
I assume.
I think,
I mean, this law isn't gonna go into effect, even if it passes unamended, it doesn't go into effect for 90 days.
Oh,
so
So that,
now is
We're
the
gonna pass
time.
something into effect, and once we consider what all that is. Now, if you wanna ban it entirely, you can do it by emergency, it's tomorrow. Okay, it's up to you guys.
or, I mean, there also is no indication that anybody in town wants to do this, but it's a proactive measure too.
It's just a proactive measure and then we don't have to worry about it.
And this would just be for commercial properties, because we use tents all the time, like at the.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
here.
yeah, we would, what we would do
That's all that.
is, we would put a prohibited use in each commercial zoning district.
Okay.
Right, also, wait a minute.
But now is the time.
Can we do it so we can still allow people cook hot dogs if they wanted to cook
Yes.
hot
In
dogs?
the parking
Yeah.
lot?
Yeah, sure. Like a summer temporary tent, like 14
So it
days.
sounds like,
ago.
again, going back to criteria, so there has to be a decision whether complete manage or criteria with a special permit. So,
I have a question on resolution 2025-17. If we say, yeah, to pass the emergency, we can go back and change like the tent canopy rental, for example, and the room.
Oh, yeah.
What,
Yeah, because we're not passing that tonight.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking that, I just thought of this. If we rented out a tent for 35 for a day or whatever, and it came back damaged, the next time someone opens that and says, hey, this is broken or whatever, that person before that damaged that tent should pay for a brand new tent.
Or the people that just did it broke it and they're blaming it on that person. We
It
would
was
have to
broke when I
set.
got it.
I'm just saying that we should have something in place, because those are very expensive
Double.
tents, right? They're like $200 or more?
Oh, no, they were like 600.
Oh, okay.
There's a clause in the contract that people sign when they rent them, that if they come back destroyed, it's like 400 something, 350 or $400. But like Mayor was saying, if I pick up the tent, I take it to my house and try to put it together and I break something,
Yeah,
I can come back and say, well, this is how I picked it up.
but then we
Then
have,
who do you charge?
Both
and it's
of them.
gonna take a lot of time to go, having someone bring it back and inspect it, like, by the way, put this up really quick in the rain. Okay, so that's a problem.
JP, can we go back to something a little,
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure, so,
okay.
go ahead.
Do we have this legislation in front of us somewhere
So
that?
it's not
This is-
even passed.
It's not even a law yet.
It's not even a law, it was a.
Councilperson Cost brought it to my attention today. I took a look at it, because it's in the state budget bill, which isn't gonna be voted on for a few days.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you wanted us to vote on something tonight and I just
No,
wasn't
the
seeing
thing
it.
is it's probably going to, because it is buried in the state budget bill, it is very likely that it will pass.
Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah.
So, and then we have 90 days until it becomes law, and then we're basically grandfathered, right? That's how that works?
No, I mean, you can always oppose, you can always.
But you know, they could be like, oh, well, there's state law and there's nothing on the books for local law, we're gonna go ahead, and then the whole thing is like, well, we already had a tent, and now you're saying we can't have tents, and there's a whole situation. So it's always better to be proactive, as far as I'm concerned, and so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel that if we already start thinking about this, and maybe if we pass something before the 90 days, I think that would be very helpful to maybe make sure that we maintain the appearance of the community that we would like to see, as opposed to fighting an uphill battle and then trying to undo something that's already been done.
I think it's worth continuing to talk about and like sleep on, how do we do this without punishing the people who do it right, but making sure that, you know, the businesses that may not meaning to block traffic or something like that, you know, so yeah, I think being able to keep talking about it and sleep on it and all that sort of thing.
And also,
That's a good
that being
idea.
said, the cell phone thing, I don't think had anything to do with any actual commercial business.
No, it didn't.
And so it was a random tent, which I don't think that's not even allowed, as far as I'm
That was
concerned,
the
right?
one,
You
that was
just
the
have
one
a
holding
random-
down cell phones for folks that didn't have.
Correct,
Yeah.
Folks, right?
And I was under the impression we weren't allowed to tell them that they could just do, I don't know. I asked about it and I was
So that's another
told,
thing, is
yeah.
I don't think they were supposed to be there, and we weren't
Mm-mm.
even sure how to approach telling them that they weren't supposed to be here. So I think that's another, to me, another reason that we should just consider not having a tent. If somebody wants to do a cookout, do they really need a tent? Can't they put an umbrella up there too? Like, does it have to be to the point? And I really can't, for the life of me, I can't remember that, noticing, except that one.
Yeah, I only know of it once.
So I don't know if us discussing this even has any effect on any other businesses that's already there. And cookout wise, it's like,
That's what it, they had a,
cookout, ooh.
it was one of the businesses. It was over here in one of the strip malls. Because they paid our special duty rate for one of our officers and it was on the 3rd of July. And it was either last year or the year before.
So, and here's the issue, is now with a fireworks store on the 3rd of July, somebody else having a cookout on the 3rd of July, and then
We can't tell them no.
multiple tents, right? Is this something we even want to?
But even if they had a tent or not, I mean, it was like they had a block party. It was one of the, do you have any idea what business I'm talking about? I don't know who it was. I just remember, and I know exactly which officer it was because it was, and it might have been the 4th, but I don't think it was. I think it was the 3rd.
I'm Jesus.
I'm looking at you like you know, but I don't think you would have known.
So
But
But yes, they had tents because, and the reason I knew that they had tents, it was super hot out there, and we went down there and there were tents, but I couldn't tell you which one it was.
I have a
Do we even
question.
want that? I don't know.
We
I'm
had
not-
a food
I'm
truck
not-
come here and they set up a tent and kind of actually grill underneath of it and
Right.
it was for the shade, that's
That's
okay,
not-
right?
It wouldn't apply to our property.
It was the
Oh.
zoning, it would be the commercial parking lot.
Gotcha.
Chief, do you have a recommendation in regards to safety?
So is it,
Like,
when we say tents, what
Like a-
are we talking about?
Canopy tent.
like,
I think
Talking about a canopy?
I
That's
think
what I'm
so.
thinking.
like,
It's like, to me, a tent has 4 walls and a door.
like 4 poles and a
Roof.
ceiling, roof.
It's a
So a
canopy.
canopy,
Yeah.
okay. What's your question?
Would that affect you in any which way? If there was a canopy thing
No,
in a parking lot?
I think the only thing that I've seen, and not so much in the village, but just around, is when you have, let's say, you have the Girl Scouts selling Girl Scout cookies in front of Yasmin Market.
Okay,
And they put up a canopy in order to keep the rain, weather, or sun off of the little girls selling cookies. Are we going to allow that?
did that actually happen?
That was a good example.
That was an excellent example. That's
So-
why I said-
So here's the thing,
So,
is
you know-
Yasmin has its own canopy built into the structure of their business.
See, that'd be like that's more like it's not a canopy though, is it?
But like, they would have a banner, but I think they have like a covered area where I think that they would
Which they would
accommodate
have to
that.
go through the permit process and have to build and do everything,
Right,
so
so-
that would already go through
Structure.
the system and get approved, so it'd be a structured one thing.
So that would be one of
The
those, the
second
Girl
question
Scouts,
is-
okay,
is
permission.
if you say, you can't have tents, and I say, fine, and I put up one of the plastic sheds.
Well, I think what we would say is temporary structure.
Temporary
We say
structure.
temporary structure.
With a sprinkler.
We define it a little better.
So yeah, temporary structures.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
So I'm just gonna you mentioned something that made me think this, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna be a jerk, I'm gonna say this.
This is the time to air all.
So, if somebody brought 3 umbrellas instead of a tent, I mean, is that ultimately still what we're trying to not?
Yeah.
But that's what's interesting, so I think again, this is something that needs to get a lot of, as Kathy suggested, a lot of deeper discussion, because I think there's a lot of what ifs, and I think they should go to at least P and Z and get a recommendation. If you can make a subcommittee on temporary structures in the commercial district. But since P and Z is also gonna be considering some changes to the, commercial districts, I think it's a wonderful time to also pop that down there and add that to the discussion.
Okay,
My
so
recommendation.
we have 90 days.
Got plenty of time.
Yep,
Here's,
90 days, great.
probably shouldn't say this, but this is a lame idea.
Okay.
What if that tent that they're talking about helps people get in and out of there faster so they're not sitting there parked in the store?
It's true, but here's the thing,
Like,
if I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know about this fireworks, I have to park my car, I have to drive all this way, I have to go in the store now. Or, hey, I'm gonna go through a drive-through, what the heck, I'll just get more. You know, the thing is the convenience actually sometimes attracts more customers, and I think that's the reason that they choose to do this.
The fireworks store is
I don't-
online, it's not a drive-through, it's very different.
Yeah, all I would say, my other response is you have to,
Think of the human nature aspect of it, where if the convenience is like you make it
This
easier
example is
to.
very specified in your example. Go ahead, Jesse.
yeah, it's just, you have to order it
Online.
online. You have to come to it, and the purpose is written here is to, nothing will be stored in, nobody's walking into the tent. They might not even need a tent, they might just be able to just do it out the back
Or
door.
just roll out to your car, throw it in the back of your
Yes.
trunk, and in and out?
Right.
There just needs to be
I
a
would-
designated load area.
And that's the way it's done at some of the locations, like I experienced that personally.
I think the goal would be to have the least amount of traffic there, have them in and out as possible. When you make like a quick list for Kroger's, you get your groceries, you can't say, by the way, I wanted ketchup and mustard, that's it, here's your stuff, get out.
Right.
You're in and out. I don't like, I get the safety issue about traffic, you know, maybe if the tent's so big and people are looking at it and not focused on the drive, I don't know, something like that,
But I think the
I don't
part,
want people backed up, hanging out, you know, spending hours, not, I mean, maybe that's the wrong way of saying it. You don't want a lot of congestion in there. I think the least congestion would be the best thing for the residents, that's what I'm thinking of.
I think for this, but I think in general, the whole point of it is to stop the tents and from all of the different business, like not
Just-
just, yes.
I mean,
So I think it's for everything.
we don't need tents. You're fine without tents. We don't need tents in front of the parking lot. We just,
Unless you're Girl Scout cookies.
Girl Scout cookies, they can have an umbrella and a sign,
Oh.
and it's fine.
I want the tent.
I just feel like this is another example of we're overthinking it. We'll be fine without tents. Dublin doesn't have a bunch of tents. We'll be okay. We don't need fireworks in a tent now. There's just,
Sounds like some more discussions.
I just definitely think that here's my opinion about this. I think the more we start thinking about this, and well, what if this, and what if that, then we're gonna have more disagreements, and it's gonna take longer, and I don't know. I think it's easier to just be like, nah, we don't need this, we don't really have it now. Let's just continue to not have it, instead of entertaining another thing that we can forget something, we can omit something, somebody can tow around it, or something like that. Just don't do it, it'll be okay. We don't need that, in my opinion. I think we'll be okay. I think it's a lot more work for us to deal with pets, and I don't want that.
Does anybody have any other comments? Do you guys want to?
Do you have an opinion?
I don't care about the tents.
Okay,
They don't bother me.
I don't want to deal with
I
pets.
mean, I don't think it's unbecoming of the village and the neighborhood. I think it's good and smart for business if it helps them conduct more business. I don't want it blocking safety, sight lines for people to turn left or right. I don't want it to be a potential liability in a parachute in a windstorm. I don't want it to be a permanent thing where it's out there for 12 months a year.
I think that would be my biggest concern.
I don't want it to be unsightly, but I mean, otherwise, I think aside from that, I'm like, I just kind of let people do their thing. That's kind of,
Yeah, but what you just told me is, okay, well, what about this and this and this, so I'm gonna make more work for myself, and then we're gonna put this legislation in, and then we're gonna put it on the village and officers to enforce it. as needed. Or we can just be.
It's a
like,
code thing, it's not gonna be an
Right,
officer
but who's
thing.
gonna enforce that code?
The people that currently enforce the code that we already have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you don't want it like that, I think it would be easier to just.
And they'll still just put it up and then they don't enforce the code and then we're still at the same place.
I mean, that's hypothetical, but it's easier to be like, no tents period, as opposed to, well, let me come and measure your tent to make sure that it is appropriate.
I don't wanna take away officers for tent measuring.
Or code enforcement.
Only if they stayed into the right of way.
Okay.
It's
That's where their authority
Alright.
is.
I think this part is too high maintenance for us, that's all. I think it's too much time. Trying to keep it low maintenance. That's my opinion, something to think about.
Okay. I'm assuming, I'm hearing that we're gonna talk about it in another, okay.
Right.
I think we can, I don't wanna step on anybody's toes, we are at 7:40, we have not even started our council meeting.
You gotta put a stake in it.
Is there anything you guys wanna do in the work session before we move forward? Don't do it yet. So this is the little tree trimming thing, just for everybody to see, on bright yellow paper. Just so you guys know.
Does that get mailed in an envelope, folded up?
Oh, no, it gets stuck on your door for everybody, this is your letter.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna know.
Yes.
I'm just joking, yeah, but that's what it is. I'm not joking, no, it doesn't go in your mailbox, it gets stuck
Goes
to
on
your
your
door.
door.
Yeah. So don't do it. That's all I have.
Okay, anybody else?
No.
Since I was kinda running this thing and, I guess then motion to adjourn?
Move second.
Alright, you good? You stopping? Everybody in favor?
Bye.
Any opposed? Alright, see ya.